Dmitriy Bivol arguably has one of the most biomechanically and economically efficient punching styles in all of boxing. When you observe him punching, you can see this almost whip-like, limb-to-limb manner where the energy just transfers from the legs to the hips to the arms into the fist. It is not by accident that people say this is the most aesthetically pleasing boxing style there is. And the reason why it looks so fluid and systematic and refined is because it's rooted in Soviet sports science. And during the USSR, boxing was not merely a sweet science in the rhetorical sense, but an actual science. We're talking about professors dedicated to one singular sport, publishing encyclopedias of boxing. You would have boxers not only having a rich background in the sport, but also being professors in biomechanics, performing tests on boxers, and using their rich experience to come up with the most biomechanically and economically efficient boxing movements. And Dmitriy Bivol is arguably the greatest modern example of this very rich Soviet boxing school, and now let's take a look at his amazing punching technique. Now, as Bivol and every single Soviet expert has said, everything starts from the ground and the legs. And I research this thing for a living, and I can absolutely guarantee you that the Soviet boxing coaches, they emphasize leg utilization much more than the other schools. So everything begins with a rear leg push-off against the ground. Then you create ground reaction force, and then it travels into the hip rotation. So you push off against the ground, the harder the push off is, the more aggressive of a hip rotation you can generate. And finally, all of that force, the leg drive and the hip rotation, it ends up with the extension of the arms and the tightening of the fist at the end. Now, a lot of beginners, they get this the other way around. They begin by extending their arms first, and then they rotate their hips and drive against the ground. This serves no functional purpose. So it has to be the correct order. Your arms are completely loose and relaxed like ropes, and then you just throw your fists with your legs and your hip rotation. Bivol says, imagine your arm is like a rope and your fist is like a stone. So if you tie a rope to a stone and you just throw the stone, the rope will be completely relaxed and whippy and extend at the end. And this is how you have to visualize your boxing punches as well. You throw your arms in a ropey manner after the hip extension and the leg drive, that is, and then just at the end of the impact, the millisecond before, then you tense. So the boxing style is very successive, wavy, and just limb to limb. And in order for this to be possible in the first place, you have to teach your body to relax. You see, boxing has a very aggressive connotation to it. We instinctually tense up all the time, including in the legs, in the shoulders, and the core region. It takes a lot of time to teach a boxer to make the entire body relaxed and ropey and just flowy. You see, when you throw a punch, it is always done in cooperation with agonist and antagonist muscles. Those are the drivers and the breakers. And in order for the punch to travel in a relaxed and fast and snappy manner, the antagonists have to be relaxed, and you have to teach them to be relaxed because, once again, it is not intuitive knowledge. And one thing that Bivol's second coach, Nikolai Isayev, would have his boxers do is to shake their shoulders and just teach the shoulder region especially to be relaxed and limp, and then the rest of the arms would follow. He would deliberately teach his boxers sometimes to have his hands completely down at the side to differentiate between relaxed and tense muscles, and then they would throw combinations from here in this successive wave-to-wave motion. You can see in these videos right here, this classic clip of Isayev training his boxers is, you can see how excellent of a job they do at just launching the arms and the fists with the legs and the hip rotation. They are just relaxed and limp and they just get propelled. You have to understand that the term throwing a punch is not merely rhetorical. That is actually how you have to approach it. It is like you see your fist as an external object that you throw. So when you punch in a relaxed state like this and you tense at the moment before impact, you create something called effective mass. That is the productive body weight that you can transfer into the end of the fist at impact. And obviously, the more of your body weight you can include in a punch, the higher the effective mass will be. And you can observe this very masterfully when you observe Bivol when he's punching. Look at how aggressively he just propels his hips forward and the arms just follow. It is so fluid and so economical, yet so efficient.